It is March 4th, 2021. This is the Loose Screws podcast, and I am Commander J-Trax, and I sound like this tonight. Welcome. I have no idea what I'm going to do when I start any episode of the show. Sometimes I think I should plan, but I never do. So that's a failure on me, apparently. Anyway, it's been a big day, and there's a lot to talk about. So pardon me if I rush through some of it, but we basically decided, I think, that we're going to rush through some of this episode to get to the talking about things part of the episode. And with me to rush and then talk about things is Commander Chig. How are you doing?
I am doing fine and dandy.
Wonderful. Commander Dubs, how are you tonight?
Doing great. Don't feel bad about not having a plan. I literally never know what I'm doing.
Commander Lieutenant Commander Data, how are you, sir?
Hey, I'm doing well, and if we don't have any idea what we're doing, then the enemy can't predict our actions.
There you go.
I like it.
Commander Nurgle, how tired are you?
More tired by the moment.
Another good reason to rush. And Commander Large Lips Lorinda.
That is
It
fine.
was Large Lips Horinda.
That
Large
is
Lips
fine.
Lorinda.
I'll take Bill even.
NL Hate, welcome to the podcast. You deserved that. Okay. Yeah, okay. That's all right.
He's not talking to you tonight.
He's not
He won't
speaking.
respond. Yeah.
No one's being terms.
Horinda aggro.
That's an inside joke I will not explain. You'll have to join us in Discord, dear listener, if you care to find out more. So this has been a big week. Circling all the way back to Friday, right after the podcast last time, we did have our meetup on the Expedition for Evelyn at Evelyn's Light, and it was, at all times, all at the same time, sad and joyful and important, and just everything to have us all together. And I felt it greatly, and nowhere else I would have rather had been. Since then, some of us have struck straight back to the bubble, as only a fleet carrier can. Thanks, Chig. Some of us continue on.
Yes.
I happen to know that Chig, because I wrote his carrier, is already back in the bubble. Has anybody else head straight back, or is it just us?
Yeah, I rode back with Chig, so.
Right on.
Trail of melted cheese from Colonia to
I'm
the
still
bubble.
out there.
Like a snail or a slug.
Dubs is still out. Data, are you still out there?
I'm still out. I'm heading north towards Beagle. Then I'm gonna
And
hop over to where
right.
Dubs is going.
oh wow. And Hate, are you still out there?
I visited some planetary nebula, the Great Annihilator, and I'm a few jumps from Sagittarius A star, and then I'm going to ride the Neutron Highway home today.
Oh, today. All right.
Oh.
Super. What are you guys after who are still staying out? Tell me about it. I know you've got some big plans.
I mean, I wouldn't say they're big, but it's a very long distance. We're just taking the fleet carrier straight out to the void. We're going to spend about, 2 weeks exploring the void. And then from the void, we will have just enough tritium to make it a third of the way back to the bubble. before I have
Just enough.
and before I have to force my passengers to slave mine tritium.
Stranger in the void.
And not because you gave them a low jumping ship in this case
No.
either.
They
if
will
everyone-
have volunteered for this duty.
Everyone could go on and just start loading up their T9s in the bubble with tritium and start flying them out towards the void. That'd be great.
For those who might not know, tell me about the void.
It's really far away. It doesn't appear to be as densely explored as the rest of the areas, and the name the Void sounded pretty cool. Other than that, I don't have a lot of information to go on. So
I drew a big red circle on the galactic map around the void and said, "Let's go here."
Yep.
It's in
The
the
void is so underexplored that Canon and Simbad just 2 months ago had a survey of more than 40 commanders sent out there.
Oh,
Whoa.
well, we might meet them out there. We will help them explore it because we
Most
don't
of
know
them
what
have
we're looking
returned
for.
already.
Oh, well,
Boom, boom.
we're going to find what they didn't find because I highly doubt they found it all.
Yeah. No doubt. Very good. I can't wait to see screen caps and videos from the void. I am happily back in the bubble and actually got to play in the combat CG last week and apparently made top 75% in one evening. That was pretty fun. And I'm thinking about maybe doing some of that tonight too, because there's new stuff, except I probably won't because we have way too much to talk about and I probably won't even pay attention to the game. But in the bubble news, there's some changes been going on with the squadron, I understand. And so let's switch over to a squadron briefing.
Incoming priority message.
Squadron briefing.
Do I understand that our plans have changed somewhat?
A full reversal, yes.
Yes, we went from we're not going to expand until everybody gets back to we're in full expansion mode in about, 30 minutes?
I think it was 10.
It may have been even less than that. So, but sometimes the BGS moves in strange and mysterious ways and gives you opportunities. And I mean, an opportunity was there, and we'd be fools not to take it. So we're in expansion mode,
Nifty.
which is
and
going to be
Ross
interesting.
now?
Out of Ross, yeah, we're going to push Ross into expansion. We have a target identified, and in the meantime, it's going to be interesting because with all of us gone, or most of us, I should say, gone out to Colonia and points beyond for a minimum of 6 weeks. So it's not a lot of maintenance going on outside of our own systems. So there are 9 systems within our sphere that are in expansion. Well, 2 already expanded this week. 5 are in somewhere on the scale of between starting and finishing, and then 2 are just about to trip over into expansion. So that'll be 9 expansions going off around us. So, it's going to be crazy.
Wow. Okay. Well, I'm back. I'll be able to help. I know Chig was mentioning being itching to BGS. It's good stuff. I miss it all. So I'm back here. I got straight hit the combat. There's almost always some kind of combat action that can be done for whatever BGS you're doing.
Correct.
That's one thing. That's one thing about this game, isn't it?
There is always combat going on somewhere.
Yeah. How many systems are we in now?
14. And
Wow.
we are in control of 10 of them.
Okay, what's a lot? Like, I don't have any frame of reference, really. Like,
I mean, some of the larger factions, CIU, they're out in Colonia. I can't think of what that stands for at the moment. Communist something Union. They've got like 119 systems, something close to that. So
It's a lot.
yeah.
there's some big uns out there. We're small potatoes, but growing.
We're small. Okay. 14 feels very big to me, but hey, I've been here since we were like, let's not have a faction.
Yeah.
The good old days. Okay, so barreling right on through, there's been a series of Galnet news articles, as you might expect. They have a lot to do with the Galactic Summit that's going on, historic meetings at the Galactic Summit, and then the Galactic Summit is imperiled by political frictions. Then the superpowers make progress at the Galactic Summit, and then Archon, Delaine, Gatecrashes the Galactic Summit. It's just a roller coaster, guys, up and down and up and down and up and down. But here we are in week 2, and now the responsibility for security partner falls to the Empire, and the Federation's community goal is done. And now we're doing both bounty hunting, and there is a cargo option this time around. As I understand it, the rewards are basically similar, except now it's a clipper on offer for the top 10 commanders, and the paint jobs are for the Cobra instead of the Viper 3. Any details I missed in there?
That was a lot of words.
Well, if I didn't describe that all to your satisfaction, it's because you would rather be listening to the voice read it out of the Galnet section of your game panel. So go and do that. You do not need me to read it to you. There are links to the forum threads for the community goals, as always, so you can check their status and information there. Yeah, man. Hey, Chig, did you want to Chig chat anybody or address any of last week's Chig chat? All right.
Sure. We can do a quick Chig chat. Yeah, why not? And then we can get on the actual stuff.
Do you want rap Chig chat music or hillbilly Chig chat music?
Oh, man.
Tonight is a hillbilly night.
I want hillbilly for sure.
Okay, hold on. I think this is the one.
Hey, y'all, it's Chig chat. Oh, we're going to get our Chig chat up off in here. I tell you what, boy, it's going to be time. I tell you what, this Chig chat. Where the cheese at?
Yeah.
That is for real one of the best ones. Like, that is so good. I am so proud of the way that synced with the music. It's magnificent. Okay.
That's damn good stuff. All right. Ty, where are you, man? Last week I asked about music while playing the game, and a lot of interesting suggestions, lots of good stuff. I just kind of kept going with my own classic heavy metal and hair bands and shit this last week. I hit Legend in CQC. Proud of that.
Nice.
I'm 3% of the way through Legend, so only about another year.
It's in the game.
The weirdest one is somebody recommended Japanese female metal bands or something. I didn't know that was a thing. It was definitely interesting.
Genre.
Yeah,
baby metal is from Korea, and it was Teflon.
Teflon put that up there. Wow. All right.
Oh, Craig.
This week, what I'm going with, because now that I'm back to doing some BGS stuff instead of just constant CQC, I can actually watch some videos, because fighting NPCs is, you can do that half watching the screen. So I've been watching, Babylon 5, and I had never watched it, believe it or not. I don't know. I somehow that just missed. Was never on my radar. I think, I was like a freshman in college when that first came out, and I was chasing other things rather than watching sci-fi shows at the time. So I never watched Babylon 5, and then it hasn't been available for a while. So I just never got around to it. So I started watching that recently, and then I started thinking about, sci-fi shows. I mean, it's a good show. It's just very dated in their sci-fi stuff and whatever it's called. Special effects are really dated, and it's a little cheesy. And honestly, I think the acting is just god awful in it too. It's just it's a show that it's a show that I wish that they would reboot, like a Battlestar Galactica. I think if they did that, that would be awesome. And that's what I'm wondering is, does anybody else have any other shows that they'd like to see rebooted that they really like? I mean, lately they've redone MacGyver, I loved MacGyver as a kid. The new show I never even bothered watching. They remade Magnum PI. They remade, like I mentioned, Battlestar Galactica. That was one of the best reboots I've ever seen. And I'd love to see a Babylon 5 reboot. And I'm looking for other shows or other classic sci-fi shows that I might have missed. You could just mention those too, because I'm kind of plowing through episodes of stuff really, really fast. I sit in front of my computer much, I think. Don't tell my wife. But that's all I have. If you guys have anything off the top of your head, it's kind of one that you got to think about a little bit, I think. But if you have anything, great. Otherwise, we can move on. Did you ever see Babylon 5? Am I the only one that missed it?
No,
I never watched it. I
didn't watch all
the
of it,
same reaction,
Yeah, well, back in the day, I remembered seeing like an episode here or there, kind of hopping in on it when it would be on TV, and I'm like, "What the hell is this show?" And and from the little snippets of the show I had seen back in the past, it's nothing like it actually is. I got just seeing a little bit back in the day, I had this image of it as this being this stupid, these colorful aliens and stuff, and I didn't realize that there was actually some genuine science fiction going on with it. It's actually a pretty good show. I just wish they'd redo it, same characters and story, but with better acting, better, even in a little bit darker Battlestar Galactica kind of way, it would be kind of cool. It's
modern
a good
sensibility.
Show. Yeah. I mean, the actual story and theme is really good.
That's the interesting thing, right? About what do you want to be rebooted? Because all I can think about is how many different reboots I've heard about recently. For one thing, Battlestar Galactica possibly getting some new show that I don't know if it's a reboot or if it's a different thing. True Blood, some kind of a reboot or possibly just adjacent show. Dexter, I know these aren't all sci-fis and stuff, but like it seems to be like reboot season. And in almost every case, my reaction has kind of been like, if it's a show that you care about, if it's a show that you liked, rebooting it, it's like, oh my God, like in what way are they going to break this thing?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, then you've heard the Firefly rumors, right?
Well, that's it, right? That's another one. That's one
That's one where I'm like, no, don't do it, don't do it.
Exactly, because it was basically perfect before. So it's like if it's a show that we really liked, we don't want it rebooted, and if it's a show that we didn't like, we're like, well, what? What's
going to be better this time? Yeah.
Right, exactly. But that is the thing, right? Like, so maybe you're hitting on it here, right? Like there's something about the show that was great, but it was in the wrong time, or it didn't have the right production team or something like that. It didn't have enough budget at the time.
For sure. Yep.
Honestly, you could say that about the Battlestar Galactica from 2004, because they had pennies for budget when they first started from sci-fi, and then I remember in the final season it had suddenly become kind of popular, and they got an influx of money, and all their graphics suddenly became better, and it was conspicuous, honestly. But anyway, wow. I can't think of anything to add, but I think you may have found the perfect candidate with Babylon 5 that I'm not having a negative reaction to.
Yeah, your gag reflex isn't kicking in.
That's right. That's right. Well, even like I don't know if anybody ever cared about Dexter, but I liked that show, and the ending was apparently extremely controversial. Yeah. I will tell you right now, I guess my wife and I are the only ones, but I think the ending was perfect and could not have been better. And I'm super mad at the idea that they would make something that might change the ending in some way, because I think it was the only poetic way to end that show.
Yeah. No, the ending is not.
He doesn't get away with it. He has to live. He doesn't die, and he doesn't get away with it. He has to live with himself alone. Of course, that's the most poetic way to end it. Whatever. We don't need to be. This has nothing to do with.
Yeah,
we need to take this to a different room.
The show's old enough that it wouldn't be spoilers, but I mean, doesn't he leave his kid with? Never mind. We won't go off on that. He
fakes his death.
Yeah, he sails out to sea, dies in a hurricane, but doesn't die. Ends up in Alaska with a beard. What the?
Just stop.
He has to
stop after the season with John Lithgow.
Yes, anything with John Lithgow is gold.
Well, that's true. That was I don't know. Anyway, whatever. I thought the show was great start to finish. And apparently I'm in a minority.
No, I loved the show. I didn't like the ending.
I never finished it. I watched the first 3 seasons, I think. And I never watched all of it.
But I'm a guy that loved the way The Sopranos ended. So what the fuck do I know?
Yeah. I loved what I heard about The Sopranos ending, but I never watched that show. It sounded like it was perfect in the same way.
Show.
Yeah. Anyway. Super. Okay.
Not all shows can have a perfect final season like Game of Thrones.
See, I thought that was okay too. So whatever.
Go down that road.
Don't care. You can't hurt me. Anyway. I'm invincible.
I know where you live. I have your address.
That's not just another room. That's a whole nother Discord channel.
Nobody in this Discord can hurt me. Bruce pronounced my commander name correctly on Tuesday, so I'm invincible now. Yeah, that's exactly what he said.
Nice.
Anyway, okay. Hey, we just did a great job of rushing through the business part of the show because the things that actually went on today was a special stream. Garet came on as a guest to answer, well, not exactly answer questions, but sort of discuss some things from a development perspective. And we got the gameplay video that Art and crew have been working on for a while.
Did all this stuff happen before or after Manitou landed on his face?
Yes.
I'm just trying to get a timeline of the day. This happened before. Okay.
Hey, Manitou, love you, buddy. Feel better.
All right.
Yeah, this happened earlier today at about 4 p.m. In England. So, well, did everybody watch the video? Yes?
Yes.
I watched the whole Twitch stream at work.
It's like 8. Okay, you watched the Twitch stream. So yeah. Dubs, like, did you at least saw the 8-minute gameplay?
I saw the gameplay trailer, and then not long after that, kind of had to take off for work. So
okay,
I didn't get to watch the end of it. I wound up watching a recap from one of the content creators.
Okay, no worries. It's fine. And I've our note sheet's just full of nonsense. I'm not really planning on attacking this like a bulleted list, but really just to have the notes laid out in case there's anything that we sort of forget about. But we can just approach this discussion wise. I will say, like, it's. I always try to like save it for the show, sort of thing, but it's almost impossible. So we talked briefly before I pushed record, and I will say, I don't totally disagree with Dubs. I did not see anything in this video of them playing a mission that I did not already think was going to be there. Like, everything exactly met my expectation of what this would look like. And it did not exceed any of it, and it did not really fail on any of it.
There was one thing that was unexpected. The only thing that was unexpected that I saw was the little piece of the HUD that said something about auto landing. And then that was touched on again by the content creators and, you know, the release date of the alpha. But yeah, other than that, what's new?
Well, let's talk about that just real quick because we can get that one out of the way. That's what I liked about it is it was one of those things that, you know, those hidden things that get added is now your auto docking, your docking computer is going to be able to land on planets. You don't have to just be at stations. So you won't have to get
that means not necessarily. That means not necessarily a pad. So what they're saying is like it will find a flat spot for you. Yeah.
Yes, instead of
you
moving
still
left,
have
right.
to waste. You still have to waste a module slot on a docking computer.
Yeah, I'm not going to use that.
Yeah,
I'm not going to use it either.
That's a whole reinforcement, man. I'm not using that shit on a fucking docking computer.
That's one hull reinforcement.
That's where my thermal hull reinforcement goes.
That's my resistance balancer, man.
Yep.
Yeah. Come on now.
This is like exactly the kind of video I wanted after that first gameplay reveal. Like, I just wanted to watch him go through a mission, which, I mean, this was pretty thoroughly produced, you know, and edited.
Oh, they massively edited. They definitely put it together, tried to make it look like they just showed up and ran a mission. No, this was they did multiple takes and pieced that thing together.
To get it all right.
It is pre-alpha, so we can't be super hard on the poor guys. I'm hoping that on the 29th that it's a little more smooth-ish.
I would have rather had them actually play it, and then if they got killed, then we see the whole thing, see them actually playing it instead of this this faux gameplay that they did, because they ran, because you could tell like when the shields would all of a sudden be different, or their health would be different, or the time was different, and they definitely pieced it together to make it more
they owned
cinematic.
up to that.
Yeah, they
owned up
I'm
to
not
that.
saying I'm not saying they didn't.
And they said, look, I actually like the fact that they said, hey, look, we had to piece this together because we failed.
And tried different tactics before they got the mission done correctly.
Maybe an outtakes reel would be in order.
I would like to see that.
Dying.
The one thing that I did not see was a ship raining down fire and death into the settlement while they were in there.
That's what I wanted to see.
Well, he does actually in one shot right after Art flies back. Yeah, you see incoming fire from the sky and hit decals on buildings from taking that fire. It's quick. In Burr's video, he points it out. Finds the freeze frame, because it's a little bit of that kind of video.
Yeah.
That does happen. He does I think the important detail there is that this is a demonstration of the surface to air defenses of these settlements, these installations, being very, very tough. So the plot essentially is that they land and they're friendly at this point. They go in, they deploy the 2 on foot players, and they go in to do their thing. Now, once they start stealing the thing and become hostile to everything, the ship was going to take extremely heavy fire, so the ship was gone by then. The ship hit over a ridge, and then only after they knocked the power out was he able to come back, and then he's able to lay down some suppressing fire, but then he needs to land because he has to pick up his people. So it does happen for a moment, and only after the settlement defenses are down.
Okay, fair enough. I guess we'll have to see what happens to our ships when the settlement's defenses are online.
They went over that on Twitch. No, they went over that on the Twitch.
Biggest disappointment of the entire video is that great moment when the Crusader flies over the encampment over their heads
after dropping them off.
Exactly. And it's like, oh, that would look so awesome in VR. And then I'm like, don't get to see that. I mean, just because of the scale of the ships and everything, when you're on foot, you could tell, but on a flat screen, it's just not the same. I was just depressed again that it's not going to be in VR, but other than that, it looked amazing. They showed a lot of cool stuff. I like the fact that, they had the one guy in like the hacker suit and the other guy in a combat suit, and how you can put together a party and you can do these missions like that. They didn't go with like some MMO, healer, tank, DPS, a triangle that you need to do. It was obvious that you could have done that mission any number of ways, with a couple squads, all weapons. They could have just went in and murdered everybody, or a single person could have snuck in and done all of it. I like that aspect of it. But then again, like Dubs mentioned earlier, there was nothing there that we didn't already kind of know. Not to be a downer. All right.
Right. It was a fun demonstration.
Yeah.
Too late. Nurgle, were you? I'm afraid I'm going to have to institute the dots in chat. Maybe if we keep having, we all want to talk at the same time. Did you have something you wanted to? Right. Did you have something you wanted to say, Nurgle?
They did at one point talk about the settlement defenses and how the first time they came in, they decided to fly in with the ship and they were down in like 15 seconds. And then they went back the second try and they engineered it, put a whole bunch of armor on it and some hull reinforcements, and they were actually able to get away before they blew up. But that was a military installation, so it has higher defenses. But as somebody who, when we started talking about Odyssey, was firmly in the camp of, this is my space simulator. I don't want a first-person shooter in it. I have to say, the gameplay video changed my mind. I like where they're headed with this. And, I'm still not the big first-person shooter person. I'm more than likely going to be the person flying support for those type of missions. But I really like where it looks like they're headed with this. It looks like it's going to be a really, really comprehensive game mode. It looks like they've given you, like you just touched on, options for brute forcing it or being sneaky. I want to see more. I'm interested in this. I'm more excited about it now than I was before.
Because that camp that you're in of not wanting a first-person shooter in your space sim is very large. Just like when Horizons came out, you don't have to use any of the new content, and you're still going to get new stuff out of it.
Right.
A whole bunch of new tools for us to manipulate the BGS. And if any of our listeners want to help us with some BGS and learn some stuff, feel free to join the Discord and the Squadron. We'll get you going in the right direction. But I'm really excited about some of these FPS elements, and where Frontier, who's never made an FPS, is going to take this.
Yes.
I'm stoked.
Yeah, I also, like I said, I'm not, nothing here exceeded an expectation at all, very much aligned with what my expectations were. And I think that's fine. And I do look forward to the full integration of, Galaxy all the way down to this particular building that has something I need in it. And I think that even though this, FPS, I think that what the video is showing off from this mission is not just shooting, and actually, well, really you have to include like the rest of the discussion that went on and the other things. So this is one type of mission and one plan of attack of that mission. And there are a bunch of different ways of doing these. And I think the focus is a lot on strategy. And so it's definitely not going to satisfy the itch of somebody who really wants a shooter, an FPS shooter. So I don't think it is trying to, I do not see it as trying to cram something into this game anymore. I think it really is like just extending it. It's the piece that we never got to do before. So it's context, it's contextual, and yeah, it does suck to know that it's not going to be seen in VR. It is going to do something. It's not the full like sense of scale that you get from VR, but seeing how big the skimmers were next to it, and seeing them run back to that. It wasn't a Challenger. It was a Crusader. I think it was a Crusader. Yeah, and seeing them like. Okay, I'm almost to the point, I'm almost to the pickup point. I'm almost there. Here I come. I'm almost there. Like just running, traversing the length of that ship.
Yeah.
Still running. I'm almost there.
What do you think,
big,
Data?
and that's a medium ship. Yeah.
What do you think, Data? You haven't talked yet.
I didn't see any grappling hooks. No wall running. Where was that?
Where were the samurai swords at?
But I liked it. This is sort of what I wanted from the beginning when they started showing videos. To follow up on something we talked a bit on last week, I think they finally mentioned what happens when you die. You'll respawn on your ship with the standard method. It'll go up into orbit or to the nearest port. And if you don't
lose your backpack.
Right, your on-foot inventory is losable if you die.
And kept separate from storage.
Hate, are you streaming?
Yeah.
Cool. Anyway.
I'm excited to try it out. I want to try it out and mess around with you guys on the mission, see how we can cheese this thing.
Well, what I like about this is what you guys are saying. But okay, two parts. One is this game is always so full of possibilities. It's always my hope is that they continue to iterate on this and it becomes just freaking amazing, because watching that today, like I said, they had this, it's almost like we're the pieces in an RTS. You were talking about, it's a strategic attack on that base. You decide what you're going to do. And if they can, work on that and have these different installations, advantages to, some cover fire from ships at some bases and advantages to sneaking at other bases. And you have to kind of solve these puzzles and use your strategy and use teamwork in order to get these things done. You're really, just another. Like, I was a StarCraft freak and I loved it. And I always thought, man, it'd be awesome if like players were the actual zealot and the dragoons and stuff running around on the ground. And that's what we're kind of doing with this, because it's not, like I said, it's not a true, like there's not a healer, obviously, but it's DPS and the guy breaking the locks and hacking the computers, and you're kind of, taking your different roles and you're trying to put together a plan. I like that this was a heist, they called it. I don't think they actually stole anything. They just went in there and shut down the reactor, didn't they? And then,
they stole part of it.
They did. Oh yeah, they stole a power regular. Gotcha. And that was cool, because you have to plan that with your buddies. So now we get to freaking be Mal and Jane and in Serenity and going and grabbing, the payroll. It's cool and getting that plan, and then the escape after, the plan went wrong and you need to get the hell out of there. So it is exciting. I just hope that, as I said, they don't not take advantage of what they've got going. It could be a new, exciting, awesome new game. I mean, honestly, I've always said,
a whole new game.
They're adding a game on top of our spaceship game, but man, it could be cool. And this was the first time that, they kind of see that possibility.
So I fully agree, and I mean, to that effect, I feel like we could see, or at least imagine, a couple of other ways that they could have tackled this mission. They went in fairly simply, and there's a moment when they go into the reactor room and there's a couple of civilians in there and they need to get rid of them, and they just dust them with the sidearm. But if you're looking carefully, or watching Commander Burr's video where he points it out and zooms in, later when they hack the reactor, there's a panel that they interact with. But on the way in, there's another panel that can be seen that is an atmosphere system that looks exactly the same, except it's labeled atmosphere instead of reactor. So seemingly you could take a different tactic and instead vent the atmosphere to take care of the civilians instead of killing them with your pistol, and then do what you need to do or whatever.
Seems like these. Sorry, go ahead.
No.
It seems like a bit of the game will be gaining access to things in the different ways you do that.
Yes,
it'd be interesting. So there's stealing access keys by scanning NPCs walking around. There's hacking it with some hacking tool, and is there like a physical breaking in way by cutting out access panels?
Cutting the panel and overloading the door, I guess those are probably your main ways, right? And Garet discussed that as like from a game perspective, being layers of the onion, sort of going deeper inside by unlocking these certain layers. So that the door they approached, I guess, had security level 3. So it's possible that you could be aligned with a faction enough that you had level 3 access already, or maybe you just scan somebody and steal that level of access, somebody who has it. But you could also be caught having that access when you weren't supposed to. If you get stopped by guards and scanned, they would react hostilely if they found you had this stolen access.
I'll be curious about the AI of the NPCs. Like, will we be able to, a couple of members of the party cause a distraction that attracts the guards, by blowing something up?
Yeah.
And then the other guy can sneak into the place you need to get into. Or are you going to instantly be tagged as a member of that wing, even though you weren't with them? It's those subtleties that I'll be curious about.
Well, I know the AI didn't seem all that smart in that video.
They were still friendly with them. When I first started watching it, because I was at work, I was kind of in and out, and they're like, "Oh, there's guards over on the left here, blah blah blah." I'm like, "Well, you're standing right there where the guards can see you. What the hell?" But then I watched it again and realized, okay, they're friendly at this point, so obviously,
they weren't too friendly after they started shooting at them.
Yes, and
the AI was still being rather.
They tried to take cover, right?
They made very feeble attempts at whatever they were trying to do.
They tried to get out of the way when they were being shot.
Yeah, they were
said that the AI will scale with the mission level, and we did see in the video that when they take some fire and their shield goes down, they then try to retreat to save their lives. So that's at least a start.
Mm-hmm.
But higher level missions would have more serious AI, and they talked about that a bit more in the discussion. Like, obviously, we don't have a visual of that, but I'm assuming there's just like the AI in ships scales considerably. But even if it's just better equipment, because that would make a huge difference, right? How quickly they get taken down.
Well, you would assume that it would also scale based on the settlement type. So, I would assume the military base would have better equipment and probably better AI, and maybe the, tourism or agricultural base wouldn't.
Sure. And they did talk some in detail in the discussion about the settlement types. Statistically, there are 27 unique settlement types with 6 themes, which are industrial, agricultural, extraction, tourism, research, and military. And missions could be specific to those like economy or theme types, and they can also be generic missions. They follow the BGS state, which will also change what the settlement looks like. And if you're friendly, you might be able to waltz in and actually like get a mission from a mission giver at the settlement, which they didn't do any of because they were just trying to steal their stuff. But
being thieves.
I think
that's right.
I liked how the fine for actually murdering someone with a pistol is like 250 credits.
Yeah.
Like, wow, okay. I see what human life is worth in the future.
Well, I just find
it funny that as they shoot somebody, a fine just pops up in the note chat. Who's writing the tickets? That's what I've always been curious about.
There's somebody at the office you just killed a guy. It's 200, old man.
Yeah, there's a murder over there. Let's find him.
And the funny part is, they sneak in. They're completely unnoticed. They've snuck into the reactor. They've ambushed the 2 reactor technicians that are there. Nobody knows they're there. No alarm has gone off, but they got a 250 credit fine.
Yep.
That is funny, actually.
Yep. Smoke those red shirts got fines. Yep.
Oh my God.
The Pilots Federation knows all.
I know, it's frightening.
Yeah.
I feel like they should have alerted the guys working there.
You would think.
Let's see. So we already talked about the weapon types we've heard about before.
But did we see anything other than lasers in that fight?
No,
today?
they just used lasers in the video.
Okay.
And I think the pistol was kinetic. But.
Yeah.
Oh, so one of the one that, I mean, let's be honest, we could recognize their voices, right?
Yeah.
So anyway, whatever. I don't have to get at it like that, but I guess Bruce was sort of the guy laying down cover with a laser rifle, and the other pistol, I guess, could have been kinetic. At first, I almost wondered if that was a non-lethal weapon, because it's I feel like I heard mention of non-lethal ways of like a set weapons to stun kind of thing, but I'm not sure now if I have that confirmed or not. I don't know.
They died.
So you guys thought that was kinetic?
Yeah.
I mean,
it says
they went down.
Yeah, they killed him.
Yeah.
Oh, did it? Okay. Well, that answers that then. Murder's pretty clear.
Murder
they
confirmed.
They used an item called an e-breach to actually hack the reactor, which is an expensive single-use item, which is optional.
Expensive, relative to.
They didn't say.
Yep.
For people that have mined back when mining was.
We have no idea what expensive is.
Yeah, they just said expensive.
He said expensive.
I mean,
yeah.
I would consider the fine for murdering someone to be expensive, but not in this game.
Yeah, no.
Let's see.
And they cut the laser cutter thing they had to, and that
was pretty cool.
We saw a few tools.
Yeah, and the effect that how slowly it fell in
because of the lower gravity.
The planet. The planet they're on, which we can see in a couple of the screens. So somebody linked to it. It's a 0.3 G planet. It has 0.03 atmospheres. And the average temperature is 256 Kelvin.
Depending on what you look at.
Well,
the gravity. Did you watch Down to Earth Astronomies? Because he was pulling.
I just looked. I did not. I looked at EDSM.
Yeah, he was like, no, wait a minute. Look at the gravity on this planet is 0.51, and then he rewound the video to when they were coming down and they were looking at the planet. It was 0.3, whatever. So he's like, are they on the same planet for all this footage or not? He didn't. He was puzzled.
Well, EDSM says 0.3.
Well, that's the actual planet. But if you look at on their HUD, it's got the gravity on the top, and it was like 0.51 or something like that.
Oh, yeah, it makes you wonder if they actually went to a different planet for some of the shots.
Yeah, it was. It could,
interesting. Whatever. That's how movies work. Yeah, but we do get to see actually the temperature reading on their HUD change depending on where they are, when they step into shadow and stuff like that. Yeah, which is pretty cool. And they talked a bit at length about the survivability of things like that, particularly how there's a range of where you'll be able to disembark from the ship or SRV, and if your suit is having to work very hard to keep you alive because the temperature is too far outside of livable range, you will consume your battery faster. So it's like there's situations where you could get out but might only have a few seconds before you run out of charge.
Wow.
And then when you run out of charge, it's not producing air anymore and you start to asphyxiate and die. And then there are sometimes where it won't let you go at all.
Right.
So,
but he also said that in some settlements and stuff, there will be recharging stations where you can stop and recharge the battery on your suit.
It's half-life, pretty much.
Which raises the question of, are you going to have a recharging station on your SRV?
Oh yeah. Well, your SRV has fuel, so it should. It has that means it has a miniature reactor, so it should work, right?
It would be the logical place to have one too, because that way then you could disembark the ship in the SRV, roam around the planet, get out of the SRV, and go do things, and use the SRV as kind of a little mobile base. So,
yeah.
I would have liked to have seen that mission with an SRV in it too.
Yeah, I do think that there were certain cuts made to the video because certain things aren't ready to be shown. Like we do never see the actual transition from ship to on foot. Mm-hmm. In either direction, on disembarking or climbing back aboard. So that's probably not ready to be shown yet. Maybe the SRV isn't completed, ready to be shown, or maybe it was just a bit too complicated. I mean, it did seem like it turned out to be a bit of a production for them to put it together. So, who knows?
When I'm at a recharging station, I'm definitely going to be hearing the Half-Life recharging station sound effects.
Yeah.
See, I'm curious if this takes off. I mean, that we've got this FPS added to the game, and they've said that you can play this game never own a ship. You can just be be an on-ground person. And then, there's those that just absolutely love the flight sim. I wonder if we're going to get kind of a battle between players where like people who only like to fly their ships are going to complain about, oh, that Jan Trax, he's just a ground pounder. He never does anything but FPS. Then the vice versa, players who play on the ground all the time are like, oh, that Dubs, all he ever does is flies his ship. He's no fun to play with. I wonder if we're going to get any kind of divide like that.
I hope so. I think that'd be healthy for the game.
I think so. I think it would be cool too. Just kind of a little bit of argument between players as to what's the right way to play this game.
I'll just use my ship
Emergent
to watch
culture.
the grounders.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. I'll go murder the grounders.
They're not even a real
pancake
thing yet.
time.
We're talking shit about the grounders. We've coined that term already.
Ground pounders? Is it grounders or ground? I like ground pounders.
I said
grounders?
ground pounders. He called them grounders. When I think of grounders, I think of the show The 100. So
Nintendo will sue you if you say ground pounders too many times.
what's ground pounders from?
Oh,
Mario. All right.
It's
ground pound.
pancaking time.
Oh, I would have never made that
Wow.
connection.
I think I missed a few Mario games.
They called it ground pounding. Which
Yeah.
action was that?
You
Not the
hit
butt
down.
slam, is it?
Yeah, it's the butt
Yeah, the
slam.
butt slam.
The butt
I call it the
slam.
butt slam. That's not the ground
Okay, so-
pound. Are you crazy?
Well, we'll call
Let's just-
them butt slammers then.
Yeah, I was gonna say let's cut out the middleman and the
Yeah.
so that
That's it,
from
yeah.
from henceforth, elite dangerous commanders who prefer to play on the ground and never fly a ship are
Are
the
butt
butt
slammers.
pounders.
Or
Butt slammers.
Butt slammers. Butt slammers.
Butt
Pounder sounds way better. Let's go with that.
So it has been spoken, so it shall be.
And
This
then
is the
the
way.
episode had a title.
The butt pounders.
No.
Oh no! What did I do?
Yeah,
We-
your
we
name
behaved.
is
You
did a
attached to
bad,
this
bad
production.
We behave through the business portion of the show now. Come on.
It's true, although we made that very short.
But now my next
We knew
question
we
is
couldn't
because
do-
that mission required them to land in a ship and go do that mission. We've heard that you could do stuff without ever owning a ship. Would you have to have a friend with a ship to do a mission like that?
Apex Interstellar.
Yeah, where can you take the taxi to? Yeah, how?
Yeah,
Yeah.
was
And if
there
you're
a
hostile-
travel agent in that outpost?
I feel like the
Probably not.
travel
A
agent is
military
going to be.
outpost.
Yeah, they're not going to
If
want to
your
work with
mission
you
is
after you
theft.
stole something.
Yeah, once you're hostile, you can't take the taxi home.
Yeah.
Okay, so
you're just fucked.
one of the things that they talked about with regard to different kinds of missions was essentially the example was given the reversal of the mission that they did. So this would be the mission is
power
to
in.
bring a power regulator to reopen the reactor at a station that's down, and in that case the what do I call them, hazards would be darkness, buildings being on fire, and possible population of scavengers and pirates while you try to turn the thing back online, and then you bring it back online and need to finish fighting them off kind of deal. So maybe in that case, yeah, you could take a Apex Interstellar taxi, bring the thing back online, and then, I don't know, maybe there's somebody would be, well, at least somebody would be able to come and pick you up after that, I guess, after a successful mission in that case.
You would hope.
If I restore your power, you better give me a lift out of here.
Yeah.
assuming they have any ships left.
Damn, would a speeder bike be awesome? Do a mission like that,
yes.
hop on a speeder bike and get the hell out of Dodge. Now I'm just rambling.
Hijack a skimmer and ride it out.
There you go.
The size of those, the Goliath skimmer, my God. The thing
I
was,
know.
it was
so big.
It was a monstrosity. I'm like, holy crap. But
It
I mean, just
might
looking
be
at
able
the
to take
size of
on a sideline.
Crusader, imagine a Type 10 flying overhead. I'm curious. Rename it the
I know.
Eclipse.
You should be able to like point your ship away from the planet at 90 degrees and boost and cook everybody on the ground.
Like,
We-
what do you think?
One of the other questions I had was so that when they're running out the west side of the encampment after the heist and everybody's chasing them, that was a terrible place to land. I mean,
You mean that it was right in the open?
yeah, out in the open. I mean, if you've got your guys coming out of the settlement, you let them run out and you park that bad boy right across the door.
Yeah,
And he
but
just
he's using
looked
the
at that.
auto dock, remember? So where would the auto dock decide to park you? That's
I'm
my
guessing
next curiosity.
because if you looked at that thing, it said lower landing gear to activate auto landing or whatever.
Yeah, he wasn't actually using it.
Yeah, he said he landed for the pickup. He landed manually, but I'm betting what that does is at some point when you are over the surface, if you lower your landing gear, it tries to bring you down pretty much where you are within reason, and it automatically levels out and everything to land. I don't think it's going to be like landing at a pad.
So you keep your landing gear up, and you're saying he should have moved really close to the gate, then lowered landing gear, and he would have landed closer to the gate?
Yeah.
Do you want a real answer?
No.
Sure.
I think the reason he went that far away is because they were trying to show off the Goliath.
Oh, yeah. Oh, no doubt.
Oh, yeah, and laying cover fire
obviously,
as they're running.
The pickup spot seemed to be near the rear of the ship, so he could have just parked it in the right direction right by the freaking door. Absolutely. And he could have, I mean, he landed ages before they got to him. I mean, he should have been laying down. He should have been smoking that Goliath from the air and touch down for an instant just to pick up those poor guys.
And he took off without one of them.
No, they were both on board. They said that was
a down-to-earth astronomy.
They said that was an error.
It was a glitch.
On Twitch, they said that was a glitch.
Oh, so the multi-crew glitch is not yet fixed in that particular fork of the alpha.
Confirmed.
Well, Obsidian Ant on his video, he said the reason that they didn't show the boarding the ship was because it glitched, and they cut that. I don't know if that's true or not.
Video, and I don't remember him saying that. I missed it.
Well,
if anybody would have that kind of inside information, it would be him, I guess.
But Obsidian put out 2 videos today, I think.
Oh. Well, I only watched one.
Yeah, we're not doing 2 podcasts, so
not happening.
Well, what if we started? Wait, what time is it? What if we started the second one right now?
Right now, run the same thing.
This is episode part, guys. We're already in episode part 2. Hey guys, this is still the 4th of March, 2021. This is the Loose Screws podcast. We're still the loosest and screwiest podcast in the world, and we've already done all our business in part 1. So here we are. So, what do you guys think of that glitch with the multi?
I think you need to hit the sounder for Chig Chat, and then we'll move on.
What?
Okay.
I think the later it gets, the looser
new
and
episode
screwier we
new
get.
Chig Chat.
Sports.
To clarify here, I look like a man. But I sound like a woman. And I can't figure out how to change that.
I got your voice. That's a deep
I forgot about that.
That's a deep cut.
That's way back.
Oh my God, that's good stuff.
I haven't left my captain's chair in 36 years.
I got all kinds of stuff in here, guys.
And if they don't
I've
like it,
never heard any of this. Are you just recording us all the time?
Well,
Wait, what do you think a podcast is?
Wait,
so
this gets
now I gotta pull
broadcasted?
that clip
What?
of Dubs.
So what I just heard was it's still been 36 years and I still haven't left my pilot's chair.
Yep.
Well,
I
end
tell
of
you,
the month, buddy.
second episode is way better than the first episode already. I like where this is going.
So 25 days and then I can leave my pilot's chair. I'm pretty stoked.
Well,
You
yeah,
can't leave
That's
their
my
pilot's
understanding.
chairs?
Pardon me?
for
Okay.
potentially buggy as hell alpha. I can't.
Yeah,
wait.
Bucky is alpha out of the pilot's chair.
And now
I
let's
will be
remember
eating
also
it.
that it's going to come in chunks. So
Gross.
Looser and
Okay.
screwier.
Yep, it's happening. So so the alpha is supposed to be sort of features deployed in stages, presumably, so we can test individual things and try to break them and beat them. I plan to basically just be streaming the thing all the time, and whenever I
will
have time to
abuse.
play, just abusing it and taking influence from Discord. How should I abuse it next? Why not?
Can we get into orbit on foot? Find out.
Well, they did have little jetpacks. You saw them at some point, jump up over things,
I
and you could
did.
hear them boost. So if you can get on top of a ship,
I'm going to try.
I mean,
Or
I know you
def-
can get on top of like a Viper or something.
I think this has to be done.
Well,
Part
yeah,
yours would be
and
on
figure
top.
out from how high up you have to fall to die on different gravity worlds. I can't wait. It's going to be awesome.
Outstanding.
So
And then
I
we
need
need a flight
somebody
suit.
who's going to join me the day the alpha launches. The first thing I'm going to do is get on top of a ship, obviously.
Oh,
The very first thing.
you will
Oh,
have
man,
no
that's
shortage of helpers.
That's a Monday. Man, who
We'll put a
launches an
whole,
alpha on a Monday?
Crazy Brits.
Bourbon. I think we'll have a whole football team's worth of people standing on top of your Anaconda or whatever. I don't care. Something with a nice flat deck.
Yeah.
It'll be great.
Yeah. I wonder where the snapshot will be taken. Like
I'm telling you right now,
betas.
We need one of those suits with wings when he spreads his arms out so he can do re-entry, and we need a folding chair so he can ride it into orbit.
I doubt this makes it to the right ears, but y'all need to release this on the 27th so that I have a whole weekend to fuck around with it. Because I have to go to work Monday.
I take it off.
That weekend, I'm actually busy.
PTO.
That's a you problem.
Yeah. Yeah.
Who works on the weekends anyways?
Fuck you.
I have pretty good luck with not having to schedule weekends. But hey, I'm picky.
Yeah.
What was what was your favorite part of the voice acting from today's video?
Voice acting?
Yeah,
wait, they were
listening
acting
to all the. Well, I mean, they were playing the game, but yeah, they definitely recorded voice parts for it.
I mean, it was Art and Bruce, right?
Yeah.
I think third person was Zach. If their voices sounded very radio-y, but it sounded like Zach to me.
So with the in-game sounds
probably the in-game comms filters.
Yeah.
Well, they said the sound team worked on it, so they probably recorded the voice parts in a studio, or maybe just on their things. But yeah, I doubt it was like actually live with the gameplay video, but a little bit more produced than that, because of the team members who were working on it.
That's not how my audio is going to sound.
Actually, the
I want a
in-game
refund.
voice.
Track
in-game voice does have. We never use it because we're in Discord, but the in-game voice does have a cool effect, and it does a little beep and stuff whenever you use it. It's pretty cool, but we never use it because Discord is so much better.
Because radio communication in 3306 is going to sound like that.
Yeah, but we can hollow me across the whole galaxy into somebody else's ship.
Yeah, but we have all this.
But your
noise.
radio beeps.
Yeah. Oh my god. All right.
It's fun,
I don't know.
It's
voice
fun,
acting to me. You thought they were acting? I thought they were just doing the mission. It's like, hey, there's guards over there. Watch them. I thought that they were just, pretending to play. Didn't seem like acting.
It didn't stand out to me, I guess.
I mean, it was fine. It was okay. I guess this is my criticism of it, as if this is a capture of gameplay, okay, I'm going to cut this panel, cover me. Okay, I'm overloading the panel in 3, 2, 1. Why didn't you do it on 3? It was. I mean, I think it was effective. It showed off this strategy of what they're doing, and one person's doing one thing while another person's doing another thing. It set a mood. It was trying to be something that you would watch. If you're really playing it, okay, here we go. I'm going to blow this door. Pop, I've done it. I'm not going to count it down. And anyway, it was definitely voice acted. They definitely recorded the voice after the fact. But that doesn't matter, and I apologize for bringing it up. It's clearly I did a very, very bad thing. What do you guys want to talk about?
Yeah. So speaking of cutting the panel off, I was actually a little surprised at how not clunky the action of cutting that thing off was. It was pretty smoother than I would have expected it. And when the panel fell off of the cutout spot, Like it was smoother than what I was thinking was
in
going to
1/3
happen.
G.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, are you controlling the cutting tool like completely, or do you just hold cut and it tracks around the?
Yeah,
the
it
panel?
looked like controlling to me.
Oh yeah,
Really? I thought it looked way too smooth.
Yeah, it looked
I thought
like
it looked like he
hit a
was being
button.
very. It looked like he was being very careful, and I could see it sort of shake just a little bit, but it looked like mouse movement to me.
I think you're making stuff up.
We'll see.
Fake
I don't believe
news.
that.
They should have voice acted it. And do you have to cut the whole panel off in a perfect square around the edges like that, or could he just cut a circle in it? That's
you don't want to cut
Squiggly lines.
the jagged edge.
I'll cut a star into it.
cut a penis into it.
It's my personal style. Yeah, you know people will do that.
It's my calling card.
You leave penises cut into everything.
Trust me, there's going to be a group of people running around the settlements with that torch trying to cut little penis pictures into walls for the next commander to come through and see. You watch, it'll happen.
There is now.
Never mind. This could go bad. All right, what are we moving on to? Let's get off penises. E-breach mission.
My prediction about that is, yeah, you gotta cut it along the edge of the panel to get it to fall off correctly. But I'm expecting a little bit of margin, a little bit of sort of
leniency,
leeway, allowance. Yeah, allowance. I feel like I could see a little bit of mouse shake with him tracing it, but it basically traced perfectly.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. I'm going to bet I'll bet you 2 LTDs that when you are going to cut something, you just point at what you're going to cut and you hit cut, and then and then it will cut it out for you. You don't have to actually do the tracing.
Wait, do you want to make an actual bet on this? I will bet you.
I'll take that bet.
I'll bet you something a little more serious, Chig.
I'll raise you 1 personal effects. Yeah.
What? 1 personal effect?
Like
the cargo?
It's a commodity in the game. It's a commodity in the game, just like it's personal effects. The canister says personal effects. It doesn't say it's singular. God damn it. That was a very good joke. And you all blew it.
No, not really.
Turning my mic off.
It was a joke.
Screws podcast. Thanks for listening.
It was neither perfect nor good, but it was a joke.
Yeah, everything I said about the second episode being better, I take back.
E.
That's what it's going to be now. Just E.
Breach.
E.
Breach. Did Trex really go away?
Yes.
E.
He did.
Speaking in sound.
He's speaking in vowels.
All right. You don't I'll bet you.
Fuck you.
I can't tell the difference between the recording and when Chig says that for live.
I know.
Oh, right. Now things are officially off the rails.
All right.
What was the bet you were going to do,
talk
Dubs?
about?
Me?
Yeah, what was the bet you were proposing before we got Trex and some amazing joke?
100 tons of granditerite.
And you're saying that you have to cut it out. You got to trace it yourself.
Yeah. I'll say you have to trace it. You say it's a point and click.
Yeah. If something
winner gets
out.
100 tons. Yeah, winner gets 100 tons of granditerite.
Okay, we got to get specific about like
gamble anything on that, but
well, do you or don't you?
No, I really don't. But sure, I'll go with it. Why not? I don't have a strong enough feeling on it. That's why I said 2 LTDs to make it seem like how little I cared. But
you act like that. You act like granditerite's a huge deal.
Life's funner when money's on the line. So yeah, I'll go 100 granditerite with you.
Yes.
Are you a moderator at r/Wall Street Bets?
Maybe. Game stonks. All right, where are we at now?
I'm basically through all the random stuff that I wrote down. As expected, we hit them in a randomized order, but I don't think there's anything we missed. What anything else? What stuck out to you? What did you like? Speak your mind.
Like, did we get the alpha?
Yeah.
That was nice. Have we said March 29th, right? March 29th
March.
is when it launches.
Oh,
Yeah.
for PC only. Don't forget that.
Oh yeah, just for where's Devoluter?
I don't think they had forgotten.
That's why
forgot.
that's why Devoluter's not here tonight. He's crying at home because Dubs kept pointing out that it was for PC only on the 29th.
Shit.
I know. He
skipped.
said, "Oh, I'm totally going to be there," and then he watched one of the recap videos and saw the PC only. Oh, never mind.
Yeah, something came up, guys. Sorry, I can't be there. Then he went.
I am excited that they've changed my mind on this. I was prepared to not at all be excited about FPS, and I really liked what I saw. I'm excited about this, so that made me very happy. I was not expecting it.
The Force has a strong influence on the weak-minded.
Where's my new Lakon Alliance ships?
All right.
That, you know what would have been the fucking absolute shit is if they would have landed and done that today in a new ship.
Oh, yeah.
That would have been the reveal. That would have been the coolest thing ever.
Would have been internet breaking.
It would have.
Okay, FDev, get a hold of me if you need other hype ideas.
And the best part, don't tell us what it is. That's just the ship they're flying, and we have no clue which one it is.
We have no idea. Yep.
He's like a pinky finger up to his cheek. He's like, "What do you mean it was a new ship?"
What do you mean? Exactly. That would have been awesome.
Bruce, blur your camera.
Yeah. That would have been fantastic. Yes.
But
hey, what about all the med packs they picked up?
Oh, God.
That's pretty sweet, huh? At least there's going to be med packs laying around everywhere.
I think they should have had to jump and hit it with their hand. and then the med packs fall out on the ground and then they pick them up. That would have been great.
In fairness, I think it was sort of a low skill level mission that they were doing. I feel like they didn't appear to be receiving a resistance that could have really stopped them. Like, I think they probably were on kind of a low elite ranking version of the mission.
Well, I'm just glad that we don't have to go buy med packs. We can just find them laying about during our missions. That'll be convenient.
At the point where they've got the reactor thingy, and they're going to make a break for the exit in the ship. They go running out of the reactor building and turn the corner. There must be a dozen guards out there shooting. And the first thought that popped through my mind after playing years of Destiny is, at any high level content, if you made that decision, you're on the respawn screen.
It's over.
Yeah, the guards had pretty much closed in on their position before they got the battery out of the thing.
So they were not taking a very impressive amount of incoming fire.
Yeah, for how many guards there were, I thought, they should have been dead.
Their shields were holding up very well.
No, I think it was more, there's some stormtrooper level accuracy going on there.
I like it.
You're saying they were letting them go for secret plot reasons that you can only find on particular websites.
No, I'm saying that they couldn't hit the broadside of a barn if they were locked inside of it.
I just wish that they would have, at one point, when they picked up the med packs, open his inventory for a second or something.
Yes.
So we could see what that looks like, or maybe look at his gun, whatever that layout, so you can see how many slots are on it, or how they do. There's just still so many questions. This was really just more, them running around shooting, cutting something open, where you just point at it, you click, and then it cuts a perfect square around, because that's the way that works. But
do you think this was just proof that the game is real?
Oh yeah,
that it actually exists. It is there.
Yeah,
because we all agree that this didn't exceed any expectation, and it didn't surprise anybody. So is this just actually being released because of the sometimes voiced sentiment that, maybe this is completely not even close to finished and it doesn't even work right now? And
well, this was two things. This was one, see, we have a playable game, and then March 29th, we really mean it.
Well, no. You ready for the Cynic to come out?
Sure.
Do it.
They promised that this would be out in the first quarter of 2021.
You said promised.
It's coming out It's coming out March 29th.
Yeah.
That's first 3 months of the year. But the alpha is coming out. So technically what people paid for, they're getting in the first quarter. So now at this point, this game could be released in December and consoles in December of 2027.
Yeah. Hey,
because investor wise, pre-sales have to be done. You can only go so far in advance for pre-sales and stuff in order for it to, legalese stuff.
Yeah.
So they needed to get something playable in the hands of players.
Yeah. So the question is going to be, on March 29th, how rough is it?
I think it's going to be pretty rough.
Like clunkiness, rough? Like you're talking how bad is the alpha going to be?
Yeah.
I mean,
so this sounds like it's going back to this idea that some of the video edits were made out of necessity because of bugs. Is that what you're saying?
I don't know. I mean,
we also don't know how old the video was. I mean,
yeah.
He said he was still in progress on it last week.
If you keep your expectations down, you can't be disappointed.
Yeah.
I say he was working on it last week, but that was also a forked. That was like I don't know if forked is exactly the right word, but it was like a demarcated version of the build that has been continued to work on it, essentially every business hour of every day since they split it so that these guys could play it to record a video.
Yeah. And they actually mentioned that
in server thing.
Yeah. I think they mentioned that in the Twitch, something about they forked it off just so they could do the demo.
Yeah. And I'm not saying that that's the case. As I said, that you want to hear the cynic in me, and that's for me, worst case scenario is they're putting this out now so that they meet all legal obligations in getting something into players' hands sooner rather than later. And the only evidence I'm going from that is because of how edited this was and how little it actually showed. I mean, there really wasn't a lot shown. It did look pretty, and I am more excited than I was before, but I really hope that that they've got a lot more than what we saw today.
And
that's high marks.
And I would think, just on a project development side of things, they're probably crunching to just get it done instead of taking the time to make as much videos. That's probably part of it too, I think.
Let's hope for the best, boys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I want to put Dubs into orbit sooner rather than later. So
oh yes. I can't wait.
I want to hit him with a railgun so bad as he's falling back to Earth.
Get to the ground.
Let's hope I actually make a splat this time when I'm coming back into orbit. Instead of just
aim for the settlement.
No, it's going to be more of a Wile E. Coyote. You'll put a hole in the ground in the shape of your body.
Yes.
And then climb out because your shield's held. Yeah, that's.
And we'll all gather up in orbit and take bets on where you're going to land.
Ooh. Nice. Wonder how long my suit will support life in space.
We got to explore like the ragdoll physics. When you die, can we like bounce your body around?
This is an advanced version of lawn darts.
I didn't see any crouching, so teabagging might be hard, but I'll figure out a way.
Yeah. I don't think there's any kind of crouching or prone mechanic at all.
Really?
Let's hope there's no teabagging.
Yeah.
Gotta have.
I mean, they've already said there's no prone directly.
I think
I don't know. Plan to add that, or there just isn't
I think
right now.
They said, well, I don't remember. This was weeks ago on one of those Friday Q&As. They said that there's no like prone position, and we did not see any kind of crouch position.
So if you want to get behind cover, it has to be.
I think it's very simple.
Right.
Yeah, I think it's simple. This isn't an FPS game. it is just an extension of the game that we have now. It's funny because like I do think they're adding a lot to the game, and we have this impression that it's like this massive FPS thing that's like a whole separate entity. But I think there is a lot of things that are much more simple than any of the FPSs you could ever compare it to, and yeah, I think it's going to be its own animal. I don't think it's going to have a direct comparison.
That's fair enough.
Well,
I expect there will be parts of that I'm disappointed by. As I consider it more, it's like I'm going to be in there thinking, geez, if I could have just ducked, or boy, oh boy, especially when I get into VR, like, you know, when VR eventually comes to this, I speak as though that's a matter of fact thing that's going to happen.
I bet you'll have VR before the consoles have the game. I'm sorry, console guys. I really am. I have a copy of the game on console. I love consoles. I am not a PC Master Race dude. Well, I kind of am, but I'm not a complete PC Master Race douchebag. I feel bad that this is being delayed on consoles. It's just become a running joke now. Sorry. Blame Dubs.
Whoa. You know what? I'll take it.
I'm down with that.
And if you don't like it, fuck yeah. Oh, I hate mail.
Yeah, send your if you don't like something we said on today's podcast, send your hate mail to largelipshorinda at loosescrewsed.com. That's all one word.
Horinda. What the hell is?
Huh? I just because it was large hips Lorinda. I just flipped 2 letters in it.
Oh, that's what you did. I didn't even know it.
Yeah.
I'm like, why is this happening?
Yeah, it was great. Just really, really clever stuff.
I thought you were doing a spin-off of him being a whore, Horinda. So now I know.
He is.
Well, we know.
There's a thing called
Both things can be true.
Yeah, they're not mutually exclusive for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
hey,
not even defending himself anymore.
Hey, what you got something you want to add, man? You've been pretty quiet over there.
Nah.
You guys are mean.
We're gonna call you NH Late from now on because that's clever.
Any other business that we should put in this before we close off this discussion, before accidentally rolling into part 3 of this episode?
We should run away.
Mercy kill this episode, please.
Yeah,
I should let Nurgle go to bed.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for everybody who's still working hard on our BGS. Thanks to all the new people who've been joining the Discord. It's always really fun. I several moments this week where I saw people from our community elsewhere, like in other streams and stuff like that, referring to themselves as loose screws, and stuff like that. Really, like,
keep that
I
up.
don't know. I get so jammed about it. Like, it just like these people like feel ownership of this thing that I guess I sort of had a hand in starting and keeping going. And you know, that's absolutely why we're here. It's so much fun. And I feel so great that I mean, look at this. I've been down in this channel for a while. There's a bunch of new unread messages up here in the other channels. If you're listening to this podcast and you're not in Discord, I'll never say this about Elite Dangerous. You can play any way you want, but if you're listening to this podcast and you're not in our Discord, then you're playing it wrong.
You're missing out.
Come fix your mistake. Be a part of it, and check out. There's a bunch of other stuff going on too. Check out other things. The Flight Assist podcast has got started with their season 2 again. There's live streams that FDev does every week. Besides all the Elite Dangerous game streamers, there is Elite Week podcast. There's Lave Radio. There's so many things. There are new podcasts popping up. Squeaky Fuel is a new podcast that is happening, and I haven't even listened to it yet. I'm going to plug it anyway because it's a thing that's going on and I need to add it to my list. So this, when I hear this back, when I've listened to this episode back and hear myself saying it, I'll remember to put it on my podcast list, and that'll finally cinch the deal. Because after we're done recording, I'm going to go straight to sleep. Anyway, it's been fun discussing everything with you all. Thank you, Chig, Dubs, Data, Nurgle, Hate, Large Lips, Horinda, for joining me on this wonderful discussion. I'm excited, and we're just a few short weeks away from being able to play and play this alpha and share the game with you via some streaming and stuff like that. For everybody who doesn't get to have it, I'm going to, we're going to do as much of that as we can and try to include everyone so that it's not a sad and hurtful thing, but instead very much fun. And we're probably just going to be poking holes in it and finding bugs anyway. So try not to feel too bad about that. That's it. Thanks for joining me. Thanks for the videos, Frontier, and let's go play space.
What is the cheesiest Shakespeare quote? To brie or not to brie? That is the question.
Am I after vengeance for my uncle, or am I having a stroke?
A little bit of both.
Little column A, little column B.
That's exactly what I was going to say. All right. Thanks.
Wait, cheese of the week. Cheese of the week. Come on, I got one.
Oh, God,
I got one.
Sorry.
I got one.
Do it.
Fontina. It's an Italian cheese. It's basically it's Italian. It's basically like a creamier Swiss, both in flavor and looks. So stay cheesy, everybody. Had to sneak that in. Otherwise, that space would be empty on my spreadsheet.
Well done. Thanks for keeping me honest.
Oh, my heart.
Is it broken or swelling with pride?
All that. It's broken because I've never had it, and now it's swelling with pride because I know it's a thing I can go look for.
Speaking of swelling,
life's worth.
Get better, Manitouk.
Yes.
Oh. Feel better, man. Come back to us. Okay. Yeah, that's all. I'm going to close it down. Thanks. Bye-bye. Good show. Hey, come see us in Discord. Love you all. Bye-bye. Oh, you did your cool voice. I like that. Bye-bye. Oh, man. I spelled Greg wrong.
Wow.
That's canon.
What a dummy.
Whatever, I'm leaving it there. Okay, hold on. I gotta stop this recording.
Go.
Greg.